Fuck you, bitch.
Just so you guys know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but this is technically
Which is
episode
new.
1. Yeah, but fuck it. So welcome my guests. We got a rapper, a poet, a dancer, and a nurse. Soon to be a doctor.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Something
That's
like
some big
that.
things right there.
A little bit.
Dr. Nicole, that's crazy.
Is that what you're doing? You're in medical school to become a doctor?
No, I'm getting my nurse practitioner's license.
She's a doctor.
So
That's a
that's
doctor in our
what they
book.
say. Everything's,
If you can write a prescription,
You're a
be
doctor.
you're a doctor.
Right. So I'll be a psych NP.
That's the qualification right there. If you can
You read a script?
That-
You're a
yeah,
doctor.
You're a doctor.
Right there.
Nah, absolutely.
That's only a drug addict's classification. Can you write a script? She's a fucking doctor.
That's it.
That's what Matt and Jenna say all the time.
All
They
the
say,
time.
Doctor.
Yeah, you're going to be a doctor. Fuck it.
Nah, hell yeah. She's going to be my doctor. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure. But so the premise of this, just so you guys know, there is no format. The format is fuck it. What I want to do, the whole idea of this is just to open up an outlet to connect, because it's all about connection, and I want to bring in inspiring people. I know a lot about you, Slaine. I've never met you personally. Matt, he's my guy, man. He's an outlet in my life that continues to inspire me and push me. And Nicole, one of my best friends, she's also an inspiration. Anybody that's in a process of like an evolution of self, that's just on that fucking grind for change, you know, is just like a student to life, like constantly trying to learn and progress, and all that is inspiring to me, like not settling. So with this, I just want to get out information. I just want to collect people, let it flow, and like give people some good shit to like take home. You know, I seen a lot of podcasts, and I don't want it to be story mode, all that stuff. Like we can all clip in like different things like that, but it's more like information, man. Like I want to just get out information, where we're at, what we're doing, stories, shit that we've gone through, the hustle, the grind, entrepreneurship, fucking recovery, all that. Being in school,
to
being
become
in
a
school,
doctor.
working with kids, it's just like a constant grind, man, that people just need to understand. And obviously the commonality of all of us, like addicts. Well, it's we
Yeah, because we're all not in doctor school like you, Nicole.
Nah. Do they know do they know you're not supposed to be in school? They shouldn't have let you in.
Yeah, I think about that.
People
all the
like us
time.
aren't supposed to be in places
No,
like
I
that.
know.
Nah.
Can you write yourself prescriptions?
There's some ethical stuff.
Is
around
that a conflict of
So,
interest right there? Or
I mean,
That's got to be against the law, though, right?
So
You can't write yourself a prescription if you're...
each state has different rules. So, I mean, you can't be writing yourself narcotics or,
No.
you know, but each state has different regulations.
Unless you're in Florida. In
Florida,
Florida,
anything-
it's just
it
fucking
doesn't
shit
matter
about it.
what you do in Florida. Everything goes.
Yeah. So it depends on the state that you're in. I think there's like they outline what you could prescribe to yourself, but not. It
But
shouldn't be a
nothing
common
heavy duty.
It shouldn't be a common practice. So
Nicole
But you
actually
can-
has a dope take on what's going on right now in the world.
oh God.
We can't skip past the fact that it's fucking coronavirus and we're supposed to be quarantined somewhere, and all of us,
This is
just
what
like
this
the
whole-
troublemakers.
This
Yeah,
is
but
what
we-
this whole
we-
episode is going to be about. We're just going to go into
No, this
No,
is
no,
virus.
we're
breathe.
essential
the
employees.
virus.
We are essential
Imagine
employees.
that.
Fucking crazy.
Well, that's what it is. We are all essential employees. That's why I'm out. But I got to tell you, I'm basically in the house doing the thing that we're supposed to do and all that. So, but I wasn't really in the fear until I start going out in the world and being around a bunch of people. Then I'm like, oh, fuck. What am I doing? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
people are still giving pounds
Oh,
and
yeah.
dap and all that. And I'm like,
Nah,
You get the elbow bumps, you know?
yeah, he gave me that back the fuck
Yeah.
up look
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
rolled up
yeah,
on him
don't-
outside.
nothing.
I got that, yeah.
That's how, you know.
because I
some
don't want
people
this
are.
shit.
No,
I don't want
yeah,
this
you
shit. You know,
don't. You don't.
the reality is there's a million people. This is a worldwide thing we're dealing with. There's a million people who have it in the world. There's 7 billion people. So like 99.9999% don't have it. That being said, it's easy to spread a fucking virus. Like to stop, I don't even know how you stop a virus from spreading. We're all going to stay in our houses.
They don't know yet.
They don't. Yeah, they just throw a bunch of shit against the wall and hope something sticks.
Because at the end of the day, you go to the grocery store, people are touching the fruit, stuff. I mean, if it lives on surfaces, you can get it anywhere. You know, you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you get a nice coffee. That person has,
It's
done
everything,
transactions
yeah.
with 300 people that day. One person has it, and now does everybody have it? I don't know.
It's crazy though, because my mother I was just talking to her the other day, and she's I don't know, it's a pandemic and all this stuff. And I've talked to a couple of people, but I feel like I've been living through a pandemic for 15
Forever.
years. You know what we do? We've been in the pandemic, and the death has been there.
Well, this
and
is the thing.
disease,
They got a death ticker
our virus
on
is
coronavirus, but people have been dying of overdoses for years. People have been dying due to drunk driving, alcohol-related deaths, complications from drug use for years.
And I'm not downplaying what's going on right now. I'm just saying I'm adjusted to it easily because I've been in the trenches with this doing work in the recovery field forever.
But
man.
then that really opens up the topic of how hard is it right now for somebody who's fresh in recovery, who just got out of detox, a week clean, 2 weeks clean, where the whole basis of recovery is connections, but networking, being around people, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, here, Zoom meeting.
Well, especially in the beginning, like when you're first getting sober, you need like, I mean, I used to need like 2-3 meetings a day.
Yeah.
Like, and even then I'd be like squirrely and I need to call somebody. How do you tell somebody like log on to Zoom?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, I don't know how
What
well
about
that works.
changing numbers too? Because when you go in person, you see somebody, they're going to give you a number through Zoom. It's maybe somebody might not be willing to ask for somebody's number because it's through a computer screen.
Yeah, and even meeting somebody on Zoom who you don't know, you're gonna. It's weird enough for a lot of people just to meet somebody the first time and then you're calling them and talking about your personal shit and your struggles and all that. But now you put the extra wall up, where it's like I met this random person in a Zoom app, and
it's real easy to fade in a Zoom app too. Think about like for me, what saved me was I was that fucking creature in the back, just like silent, not talking, and it took like people to come up to me because I wasn't gonna engage. You know what I mean?
you can just shut your camera and your mic off.
Oh,
and
bro,
like,
forget about it. Mute.
Disconnected. Yeah.
Instant. No one's gonna be like, "Hey, there in the top
what
left
are you
corner."
paying attention right
fucking,
there?
I see you. Not. It's hard.
Well,
to,
I actually do that because I'll wake up and I can log on to the early bird meeting or whatever, and I'll just turn my camera off and listen while I'm in bed because I don't want to,
Yeah.
Or I'll go outside and smoke a cigarette or take a leak. You know what I'm saying?
It's the only time you could be in a meeting and be taking a shit at the same time, or where it's not a bad thing, like where necessary. Because if you could take a shit in a meeting, I'm sure somebody
Probably
has.
gonna be awkward when you come out.
But there's probably tons of people just shitting and getting their
Just
recovery.
sitting there.
Nah, for
I'm
sure.
laughing because last week on my women's meeting, we were like talking after the meeting was over. And all of a sudden, this dude comes into the Zoom and he's just got like the camera up like this and he's in his car. And it was so weird. And he just stood there staring at all of us. It was so bizarre, dude.
I heard that's happening a lot.
Like, what is happening right now?
I heard a lot of people are infiltrating the meetings through Zoom doing dumb shit.
It was
I've been on a
awkward.
couple like that.
It was awkward. Yeah.
And then hijacking, even not just with meetings, like schooling too, because a lot of schooling's being done through Zoom, where you can hijack the room.
We got an email from our school saying that the Zoom sessions were being hijacked from outside people. And
It's crazy.
I'm like, this is so crazy.
It's the Twilight Zone. That's what we're living
it really
in.
is.
It's wild, man. It's wild. The world is very strange right now. Fucking Tom Brady plays for Tampa.
I don't even.
We got a global pandemic.
I mean, if he even can play. So
I hope.
we keep operating under the premise like May 4th, we'll get back to work. I mean, man.
Not cancel football for the
virus-
next 2
cancel it.
years.
I don't
give a
care.
fuck.
Viruses gain strength and change. So
In
like
different strands.
even if this thing starts to die down in June or July, there'll be a second wave that comes back, a different strain of it that's stronger than. I mean, that's just the way viruses work.
Yeah.
And then if they come up with a vaccine,
18
we're all gonna line up and get a shot to prevent us from this thing. I mean, I feel weird about that too.
I've seen
What's
a
in
lot
the
of
fucking
bad
shot?
movies
Did they
that have
rush
turned
it?
out.
I can't even. Let's stay away from the conspiracy theories.
Don't
all
get.
right?
She'll go
Hell
down the
yeah.
rabbit hole. Go tell
I'm
us.
with it.
I like your
5G.
your universe.
I've already been down the rabbit hole looking at the conspiracies behind that 5G.
Aside from 5G, there's some
There's
wild ones.
there's a lot
don't
of
get
crazy
us-
ones.
Don't get her started, man. I like your positive take, like the universe. First off, Nicole's the most bipolar Facebook poster in the world. First off, she'll post some shit like everybody's gonna be okay, the universe is talking to us, and then another shit's like we're all gonna die, the fucking government's.
Because that's. I mean,
She needs to
I feel the
prescribe
same
herself
way.
meds.
I feel the same way though. Like 1 minute I'm all good with it. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of good things that are coming out of this, and I get to unplug for a little while. And I'll tell you what it is. You turn on the news and that fear, they stop bombarding you with that fear and
Unplug.
shit. And it changes your whole shit. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is never going
World's
to end.
gonna end.
What's worse? Is it the virus or the economy crashing? Because now, And I still
Great
feel
Depression's
like that.
coming.
Bad.
Oh,
That's what the news is. When has the news in the last few years ever been positive?
So I don't watch
feeds negativity.
I don't watch the news. I just all politics. So I am watching the news right now. They're a mess.
No, absolutely.
Like I'm like, people really educated people watch these people on TV.
But
they're train
they buy into like whatever it is that they're spewing. They could say this, you're gonna follow
like,
that.
what?
They say this, you're gonna follow that.
Fear
It's
is
like,
the agenda.
Yeah,
it's always the agenda. You keep
exactly.
people in fear. It's easy
Wicked
to control them. Which is why I don't watch the news neither. But when something comes along, something comes along and it's like you can't work. You gotta cancel all your shows. You gotta, and then you start. Maybe I should fucking pay attention to this because somebody sent me a message on Facebook like, "Dude, it's about to hit. Are you worried about this?" I was like, "I don't watch the news, dude." 2 weeks later, they're starting to cancel my shows. I'm like, "Fuck, I better watch the news and see what the fuck is going on."
Yeah.
Give you a universal take, Nicole. I like it.
I mean, I have a whole bunch, but I do feel like this is all happening for a greater good for all of us. I do truly, deeply believe that. I think that we're all going to learn a lot about ourselves. I mean, Scotty, for instance, Chris and Matt know.
Shout out to Scotty.
Yeah.
Big shout out. That's my guy.
We all know Scotty, but he meditated for a whole hour.
No way.
I swear
I
to
don't
God,
believe
I
it.
swear on my kids.
That's awesome.
So after we did it, he was like, that was an hour, because he didn't know how long it was. And I was like, yeah. He's like, it felt like 15 minutes. And for him to say that, and if you know Scotty, you know he's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's from Fall River.
Nuts.
He's got that whole, he's, yeah. So for him to do that. And so I mentioned that because I do believe that people are going to be forced to go inward in order to get through this. I don't think there's anything outside that's going to get people through. And the funny thing is when they said the 2 weeks, I was like, it's going to be longer than that because the universe needs more time to get everyone's attention. And I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that you have multiple ways to go through this, right? We can go through the fear component of it and we can feed into that, buy into that, all that, and live in a place of terror and not take advantage of the opportunity that's given to us, right? Like the opportunity to go inward. For me, I choose to just seek inspiration. Right now, I'm on like a serious, I'm always like that, but especially now when it's like, you don't know what the fuck's happening. Like we're entrepreneurs, everything's affected, business is affected, money's not
Very
coming.
stressful.
People like, are we getting laid off? Like I'm trying to apply for business loans to keep
You just had a baby. Like that plays
Yeah,
a factor too.
And it's like my first reaction to it was like instant panic, you know what I mean? And then I just kind of sit still with it and get to that place where it's like, all right, I can only control what I can control. And with the things that I can control, I better fucking do my best with them, And then just trying to seek out like inspiration, you know what I mean? Like feed, because that's the thing, it's the mind. The fear comes in, it creates the sickness of the mind. And especially with addicts, man, we get that in the fucking
obsess over it. Wheels start.
It's a wrap, But when you look at it in terms of like she said, that's why I love her universal. It's like telling us time to go inward, to sit still, take opportunities to spend. Like my brother's here right now, helping out with the podcast, which is dope because usually he wouldn't have the time to do this. You know what I mean? I'm home with my family. Her mother's out of work. She's there. We're spending time together. Like her.
But that's it. You got to look at like the silver lining of it too, because there's still benefits. There's still things that you can pull out. As like you can look at the fear side where there's the death, the destruction, everybody getting it. 80%. It's gonna spread throughout whoever. You can also look at like getting in touch with yourself, the time that you have, reuniting with your family. We can spend more time because like more people than not are laid off. I mean, we're all in here and essential employees still working.
Yeah.
But for me, like this time has been huge on just like I've been writing so much more than I have over like the past year because I have the downtime too. And instead of getting plugged in with the news, like I watched, Janelle was on the news the other night from CHA and we spent a whole day waiting for the segment. And it was the most miserable 6 hours of my life of just constant fear-based and death toll and, nursing home, 18 people died. This nursing home shut down. It's just like, it's absolute torture when you are plugged into like the way they push these things off, where like, I've been trying to use the time to read, to try to, started taking the real estate course and I've been writing every single day, which I haven't been. It's been a while for me where I was writing consistently. You know what I mean? And that's something that's like, trying to utilize the time in the best way possible.
Even this moment right now is created by this. I've been procrastinating on doing this,
Yeah.
like all this shit, and you're the king of let's go, let's do it, and you hit
I
me
don't
up
plan.
like,
It's hey,
bang,
this is what we should be doing. Let's just get it. We'll figure
Yeah.
it out, wing it, put something out there.
nah, for sure, and here we are.
I mean, really, life is like that in general. You know what I'm saying? Like things happen all the time that are beyond our control and beyond our power, and all we can do is, you know, stay in the moment, take the next directed course of action.
I think the whole world is like learning to live one day at a time,
Mm-hmm.
which is like something that we all are taught. We're taught.
We're
that.
all accustomed to that. That's
But
how we
we're taught
live.
that because we're psychotic, and
Yeah.
if we don't live one day at a time, we'll
Lose it.
destroy our whole life. Which, I mean, to see the everyday person be forced to take it one day at a time and not having, you know, we don't know what the outcome is going to be is kind of profound too, I think. You know what I mean?
But we really never know what the outcome is going to be with anything. Even
No,
we
but-
just kind of delude ourselves to
Yeah.
thinking like I have a secure way to make a living. I have this, everything
Oh, how
is in place.
quickly that
It's like,
changes.
nah, nobody does. There is no such thing as anything secure because a pandemic can come along, a fucking tornado can come along, a
Or just
hurricane.
God's plan comes along too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's never for us to understand in the moment, right? That's the frustrating part. You get so consumed, like, why is this happening? What's going on? Why? And it's never for us to understand now. It's always in hindsight, looking back, being able to like connect the dots, looking backwards. You know what I mean?
think this is so profound that to ignore the spiritual undertone of it would be idiotic of I know for me personally. Like there's definitely a huge spiritual undertone to what's happening in the world
100%.
right now.
I mean, the universe is always pushing you to the experience that you need to expand your consciousness. That's the whole point of being on Earth, to get more conscious, to get out of the ego, out of the pain and the fear, and into presence and consciousness. That's our reason for being here.
And that's even beyond just addicts. Like but
Oh,
it seems like
that's
we're
life.
we're the bulk of who's in pursuit of that. Which is like I tell like my brothers, they're not in recovery all the time. Like that's the pursuit. We're here to find meaning in life, to expand,
Well,
to go inward.
everybody is. It's just that pain is the great motivator to seek that out. You don't seek that out unless it's necessary. And everybody has their own path there. So, you know, the experience that the universe gives you is the one that you need to expand your consciousness.
Yeah, we just needed to, you know.
This is the
We need to be
collective. So
completely
this is the
broken to get
collective. You know, we're in a society that's run strictly on ego and fear and all that. And this, you know, you got to think on a spiritual level. This is designed to crack the collective ego and unconscious living and
I
make
just
people
got the
examine what is really important and what is real.
Well, because you took it all away. There's no, even something as simple as socializing, it's gone. Like, it's like you and the man in the mirror right now. And what are you going to do with that? And, you know, one of the.
Well, how much do you love your wife? How connected are you with your kids?
like, No,
it's
that's
true.
a real
That's the
question.
Well,
truth.
it's
That's the truth.
what's really important. to
What's
you.
and
what's
all of
really
a sudden you're home every day with these people. You're like, shit, I have zero relationship with I don't even know these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Or oh, damn, I actually don't even like this chick. You know, like a lot of people are learning a lot
They're
of stuff
figuring
about
that
themselves
stuff out
right
right
now.
now.
It's okay not to like them every day. You taught me that.
No, absolutely, but we have a process for that. You know what I mean? That's not we.
Not
we go
everybody
through,
has
We
that process.
choose that. Like, we choose what days we're going to deal with, what's going on. You know what I mean?
But there's some people freaking the fuck out right now.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're at home like, whose life is this? Because think of how consumed we get in society, right?
Right.
Just staying busy, and there's always a reason why we have to be here, have to be doing this, have to be doing this, and then all of a sudden it's like stop.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. People are kicking cold turkey right now.
Yeah.
From life.
The world's kicking cold turkey from life. Who better to be ready for something like this than motherfuckers like us?
And it's not just one country, one state, one
the
city, one
world.
No.
country. This is the whole world. So anybody I know who's, you know, I got friends in Europe or all over the world really, and everybody is dealing with the same shit.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It is kind of
A
crazy.
uniting
I mean,
uniting force.
my mom's been home and she's a bug. She gets crazy when it snows. Never mind a pandemic.
Oh, man.
She drives me right up a wall. But she goes to AA like faithfully, like scheduled. You know those old school AA people that go every 24 hours.
Yeah, my grandfather.
Yeah, that's
Every
my
day.
yeah, that's my mother. So she'll come up. She'll be like, I just went to a meeting in Britain. I'm like, okay, cool. But she's really like loving it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is.
I mean, there are some cool things about
Yeah.
it. Like you can go to a meeting in LA and then another one in New York the next day.
Oh, it's dope. It's dope.
There was some. Oh, what was it? Something slipped my mind. I don't know. We'll come back to. Oh, the other day, Scotty, right? So he cleaned out the garage. He wanted me to go through these bins. We wake up in the morning. I don't want to go through the bins. He says to me, he goes, "Do you want to go through the bins?" I'm like, "No, not today." So we all know Scotty. He gets silent and he doesn't say anything. And now I'm scared because, like, what's coming next? You know, either he's going to accept that I don't want to go through them. He's like, "You know what? We all just have to do what we need to do to get through. If you don't want to go through the bins, that's okay. If you need to not do that to get through today." And I was like, that's the truth right now. He had so much respect for my boundary because those bins could have pushed me over the edge.
Lose your mind over.
You know what I mean? He's like, "That's fine. I'm going to go downstairs and go through the bins." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You do what you have to do and I'll do what I have to do." Knowing we're not leaving the house. You know what I mean?
I love
where
it.
you're going.
So let's talk a little bit about Slaine. You were touching on it, the expanding the consciousness, but just I'm obsessive with the power of the mind and how we're prisoners to it early on. We don't understand the profound effect that it has on us, right? So like for me, when I help people, I don't even teach them necessarily about like the program. Like I tell them about like what it is that they suffer from. I try to break it down in terms that would like kind of help me. So I always classify what we suffer from as like, they call it the disease of addiction, alcoholism, substance use disorder, it's a brain disorder now, whatever. I just classify simply as a disease of extremely fucked up thinking, and untreated has control over us. And I explain it in terms of like pretty much premise, untrue fucked up thought, untreated, we attach truth to, which then becomes untrue fucked up emotion, which we just feel, whether it's fact or fiction.
False evidence appearing real.
And then that emotion we feel now creates fucked up, untrue interactions with ourselves and the people around us, causing confusion, right? And so how do we get to that place where we're going from, first off, all of us sitting here, right? How did we get here? Which is fucking crazy. How are we even having dialogue like this? How are you even talking about the conscious, expanding your consciousness? Mm-hmm. Like, how do we go from like, because I'm a heroin addict from Lynn, Mass, gutter junkie, felon, all that shit. Like everybody was like, that kid's probably going to die. Yeah. I know the deal. Like, I mean, I remember when I met Nicole, she was like 16 dating a 42-year-old or some shit. Fucking strung out on
right
OCs.
under the bus.
He sold OCs and he was 24. I mean, that.
42. He's dyslexic.
All I remember, how young, he just seemed like an old dude to me 42. Back then.
He was a Greek kid from Lynn. You know
when you're 16, 24 is 42.
Yeah, for real. I used to think 37 was old. I'm 37 now. I remember looking at a 37-year-old like, that's an old man. Yeah. Now I'm 37 years young, motherfuckers. Yep. But how do we get to this place, right? Like, and it's not really like, you always, like, even when people do recovery stuff, there's not enough teachers in the game. You know what I mean? There's not enough people talking mostly, and there's nothing wrong with stories. I love stories, people's like stories, but the meat and potatoes inside the stories that a lot of people don't have time to like really get into, right? To really explain how this fucking thing operates within us, right? And what we can do, and like what are the actions that we take to progress. And it's not just like, so I'll lay my shit out there, just what my belief system is, and we can feed off each other or whatever you want to tell me that you think. But I always say that beyond even 12 steps, right? Before we even get there, I think that the number one antidote is these three things to any recovery. If you don't even want to go to AA, NA, CA, if you just want to go to a Buddhist monk, if you want to go to church, I believe it's connection, honesty, and not just communication, but relentless communication. If we don't learn how to do those three things fully and completely, that there won't be a true process of like change, like a spiritual and like mental and a whole evolution of change. It's the idea that we can connect, number one, first and foremost, because if I don't connect, I'm classifying myself as uniquely fucked up, and then I'm isolating myself because it's like I can't be here because my sickness is the sickest of the sick, right? And then I'm like I'm terrified of the exposure of truth, and so then I don't have the ability to be honest. And if I can't be honest, my communication is the only thing that shuts this the fuck up. It's how I don't attach truth to every thought that comes in, right? Because I'll never be able to sort through my clutter to get to my clarity. You can. We were talking outside, like, We could give the best advice all day, calm and collected.
To everybody else.
When your emotion isn't attached to it, it's easy to give somebody else a good advice. But when it's your own shit, all your fear,
fucking
your emotion,
forget
everything.
about. Oh my God.
You know, the best book that I've read in my recovery is not even a recovery book, but it's called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
It's my guy.
Man,
I listened to it. Let me.
I listened to it too.
Okay.
The Audible book.
First off, his voice is soothing.
It'll
put you to sleep if you listen too long.
He was scheduled to come to the
June 1st.
I know.
Yeah, I want to go. Is it canceled?
No, I keep looking it up. It's still scheduled. They're gonna reschedule it, but we
But
should
maybe
go.
not though.
You wanna
Maybe
go?
not. Maybe
we
not.
Should go. Wayne
Yeah,
Theater.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. I I don't know if he's definitely coming
I
or
know.
not, but I hope he does.
I know. Sorry.
But yeah. So I mean, it really put a lot into perspective for me. I mean, this book is a masterpiece, man.
Yeah.
It's really a fucking masterpiece. And as much as like the AA literature is amazing stuff, changed my life, saved my life, continues to, we all have this human dysfunction, which is the ego.
Yeah.
How he breaks it down, if you've read it, is we have the ego. The ego identifies from the past and seeks validation from the future. It can never really be in the present moment. And then we actually have this parasite that lives inside of us, and it's called a pain body. So you're born with it, and it seeks more pain in the current situation. So it seeks to rejuvenate its old pain from the past in the current situation. So it's like the girl leaves, and everybody that's ever left you leaves at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're constantly seeking out the pain in other
constantly
people.
setting the same stage.
And, a lot of relationships are like that. So what you're attracted to in a woman sometimes can be the pain that you saw in your mother, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you relate to other people's pain, and you attach to it, causing yourself more pain.
Yeah.
So when you get into a healthy relationship, it doesn't stimulate you in the same way, and you're looking for somebody with more pain and chaos because you have this thing inside of you. So the two of those things together create this fucking shitstorm inside of you, because the pain is lying to is feeding your ego, and your ego is constantly lying to you. So it's like this when you have these crazy thoughts. Now that I've been meditating on meditating after reading this book and kind of getting in touch with that, it's like, who are you? You're the one with the ability to watch your thoughts.
The inner observer.
That's the real you. Yeah, the inner observer. And when you start watching your thoughts, mine at least, are fucking insane. Like when I look at like the shit, because my ego will throw all sorts of ideas at the wall, like insane, fucked up ideas. And sometimes I'm like, no, that's not
mortifying.
Yeah,
Mortifying. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I know you did his other book, which is The Power Now.
Yep, both books.
So that The Power Now, they kind of have a different themes, but the same material. And when I first started reading The Power of Now, because it talks about the thoughts, right? And I remember something was going on. I was at the office, and one of the doors were closed, and people were talking. And I remember my head telling me they're talking about me. And I had just started that book, and I started getting paranoid, but the thoughts weren't. This is the power. It's really real. The power now is it. Your thoughts are so random, and they come from places that aren't even. They're just thoughts. And I, as a female, let's just say, you want to know why females go crazy? Because we get these crazy thoughts, much like you guys, but we go psycho over them if we attach to our thoughts.
We all do. That's the human condition. It's human
crazy.
dysfunction.
So you got Eckhart Tolle, Napoleon Hill, Jack Canfield, Jordan P. My biggest inspiration. I'm an NA guy, so I went to NA first. I still go to NA. I got clean in NA. I'm an NA, all that stuff. But I needed to go deeper, right? Than what was. I did step work and stuff like that. But there was more. So I started seeking out inspiration, reading. Like and the more I read, the more information I started to feed this thing positive. It would change. It started to change, and then it created an action, right? Because for me, the only way that we can change the thought process and how we think is through the positive action that we take. Enough positive action in turn changes the subconscious mind. It's the reason why, and I even break it down with people to explain, even in recovery, you're going to have to do this shit against your own will. Yeah. Without your own fucking permission. The things that are giving to you advice, if you're going to wait for you to give you permission, it's never going to happen. It's against your will. And understand the same way, like if you tell me, start going to the gym. I'm going to be like, fuck that. Every day you tell me to go to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to work out. I'm in bitch mode right now. I don't want to lift weights and all that. But if you get me to go for a week against my will, I'm still kicking and screaming. After 2 months, I'm like, if you fuck around after 3-4 months with me going against my will and I'm starting to see a little size, one person compliments me and I got a little vein popping out of my bicep. Next thing you know, I'm cooking chicken. I'm carrying a gallon of water. I have to go to the gym. I went from I'm not going to the gym to all of a sudden my mind's like, if you don't go to the gym today, that's a bad thing. Now it wants me to go to the gym. The training, the cycle of thought has changed, right? The information. But when you guys were talking, I was thinking about this quote, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Such a dope book, man. So when I buy books I highlight shit. I have to. I go back and read it like I used to my book. But it says the subconscious mind, the chemical laboratory in which all thought impulses are combined and made ready for translation into physical reality, makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It works with the material we feed it through our thought impulses. The subconscious mind will translate into reality a thought driven by fear, just as readily as it will translate a thought into reality driven by courage or faith, which is what I was talking about earlier, like how I choose to seek the inspiration during what's going on right now, because that will create my experience with how I'm handling or what my experience is going through all this, right? So that's why I'm constantly seeking inspiration, because I fucking need, my mind's still crazy after 15 years clean, man.
Yeah.
Like it send me a thought, like some bullshit that's like mortifying. I'm like, God damn, why the fuck am I thinking that? You know?
The power now helped me with that a lot.
But it's still a daily practice. It's helped me a lot too. But it's like, that's actually runs adversely to what Tolle's theory is. He says you can never act your way out of egoic behavior, because everything you do will be from the ego to get more, to get better, to whatever the ego attaches to. So it's like the ego has attached to you not going to the gym. It doesn't want to go to the gym. Then you go to the gym. Now you need to do this to get better, to look better, to feel better. It's all coming from the ego. And, kind of what he says in that book is you can't act your way out of it. You only can be, right? So it's like instead of doing, it's being. So like what meditation does is it starts to put space in between your thoughts. And he has this, I don't know if it's theory, fact. To me, it feels like fact. But it's like the healthiest thing you can do for your body, for your mind, everything is conscious breathing as much as you can. So you clear your thoughts and you just watch the breath happen. And when you do that, your brain starts to, there starts to become more space between the thoughts, more space, until it naturally, you start having more space. Because part of what we suffer from is this obsessive, constant fucking thinking and storytelling, and it never fucking stops.
It's like you live the way you breathe is part of it. That's one of the things he says in one of his books is you live the way you breathe. So if you're, it's almost like be a watcher. That's what I take from it. I think a lot of the books, we all take different chunks from it, but that was one of the things I took from it. Like, if you know me, which Chris, you guys know, I can get a little crazy,
No.
A little bit, a lot of crazy.
But when I meditate and I slow down and the breathing, like it literally chemically changes everything going on in my body. Yeah. It's insane.
Well, your body rejuvenates itself through that. It's the healthiest thing you could do physically.
Right.
He says if you just take conscious breaths even for 2 or 3 minutes a day over the course of a year, you've done more for your body than, spending a year in the gym would do for it.
Yeah, no, and that's what recovery is, the gap in between thought and action. The more we create that space, the better we are.
But it's fucking hard, man.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I meditate and I can't stop the thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it takes me until the third meditation. Like I might have to, wake up, do a meditation. I can't. My head's going too much because the ego is fucking going all night. You wake up and you're like,
you lived in those thoughts all night.
Exactly. Even though you slept. And it's fucking going, and it's, the committee has fucking, the committee is in session, and it's got nothing but negativity that it's talking about. And, sometimes one meditation, I might get it to slow down like 20%. Then like an hour later, let me try this again. I'll get it to slow down a little. It's like the third meditation where, all right, I actually, got through it without the fucking thoughts rushing in. Man,
Well,
And I got a big ego, man. My shit is fucking always active. It's always fucking active. So it's something I've really been working on, but I think it just takes time. Time and practice.
I think it's a lifelong.
Audiobooks changed my life. I told the girl, because the girls at the sober houses in Mass, they're all confined. So I've been trying to share my resources with them, and I told them the audiobooks changed. 12-step will always be the core of who
for sure.
I am. It will always be something I go back to. I'm never leaving it. However, there have been some really painful things that have gone on in my life, over the past couple of years where I've been forced to go into things like the audiobooks or whatever it is, and I've gained a lot of freedom because of it. So.
I listen to TD Jakes, man. TD Jakes, Bishop TD Jakes. That's my guy too. Oh, hell yeah. I be quoting him when I speak.
Matt, you ever watch him?
Never.
The Black Pastor, TD Jakes.
He loves him.
Oh my God. No one gets me more fired up. With new levels comes new devils.
Yeah.
I love that shit. He taught you like him. Anybody that can uplift and inspire me, man. I have they're out there. I did all these paintings of different people that inspire me. I got Gary V. Yep. This dude's my Jordan Peterson, clinical psychologist, man. He wrote a book, 12 Rules for Life. He really grabbed me in a different way. And I just love how he comes from a state of humility. His thing is always going to any conversation with anybody under the assumption you could learn something. Yeah. So to open up your mind to the possibilities that you don't always know best, right? And which is tough, right? Because we get so locked in our belief systems, especially you see with the program. It's like AANA, fucking opposite flags. It's like you see people get defensive, Suboxone. No, so it's like if you're truly in a place of no ego, then there's not one door for everybody. There's not one door for everybody. There's multiple pathways for all people, and everything should be more inclusive. The number one thing, I remember my buddy went all the way out to LA to hear this NA convention speaker, and he was one of the pioneers with Jimmy K and all that. And everybody waited to hear this guy. He had fucking a million years clean. And he said the most important component in all of it, the secret to any of it is love. Yeah. That's it. Just love each other. The rest is bullshit. That's pretty much what he was saying. Just love each other. Imagine that. Just so fucking simple. Love each other. So simple. People
drove all the way to LA.
All the way to LA. My mother been telling me that since I was a kid, but it's just such a simple concept. But how fucking hard is it, right? Because the ego.
I think it's at the root. It's at the root of addiction is a lack of self-love. So you don't love yourself. You look for validation from other people, places, things, whatever.
And then you find it in the drugs. Yeah.
And we were talking about relationship stuff and heartbreak.
Other things.
When we were outside, we were talking about heartbreak and everything. And I went through some recently, not too long ago. And so I was reading a lot about it. I was reading A New Earth and all that. But I was reading this book where it talks about love is an addiction. Drugs actually hijack the system that human beings are built to love with. So dopamine in your brain, that is built, the system is in place to fall in love. So you meet somebody, you start to get the mental obsession about this girl, you're thinking about her all the time, it's firing, every time you think about her, the dopamine is firing off in your head. You see her, you get the butterflies in your stomach, that's like anxiety, right? So it's you're short of breath, you're thinking about her all the time, it's that, and the sex and just the fucking ultimate rush of dopamine. The serotonin goes down. Your serotonin levels go down in the first 3.5 years of a relationship. So it's you're in this heightened state where you're unable to differentiate the true from the false. You're just in this feeling. You're willing to sacrifice anything and everything just to be with this person. Yep. Yeah. You're willing to overlook anything or whatever, and that's nature's way. So it's our number one instinct above eating, breathing, anything. It's the first thing we do when we come out of the womb is that connection with your mother. You get right on top of her chest or whatever. And it's the love and the bonding connection. It's literally the whole human race depends on that instinct that we have. And that's why heartbreak hurts so much. Now drugs have hijacked that system. So when you do cocaine or meth or whatever it is you do, it's firing off all the love chemicals in your brain. So you fall in love with the drug. You're willing to get anything, do anything for this feeling, do anything, including ignoring the people you love, hurting the people you love, because you're chasing that elusive feeling of love because you need to generate it because you don't love yourself and you want to feel like that all the time. Because when you do the drug, it makes you love yourself until it wears off, and then you hate yourself even more so. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting thing, man.
Oh man, it's lit. And Matt has a poem about it that I fucking love too. And it's
the one he posted on Facebook the other day. I was like, he's writing this about me, man.
He's got a few that are dope.
Now,
but I was talking to them outside, and I'll let you go, Matt. But just the premise, like if people ever wanted to understand what it's like to be an addict for a second, think about the last time your heart got crushed, and someone was trying to give you advice like, don't call, don't check their Facebook, or
right.
Don't show up there. Don't make us. You know how many people
slash tires.
It's fucking people lose their minds during heartbreak.
Yeah.
Do the dumbest shit.
Heartbreak makes you do the craziest things in the world.
It literally, I've seen more.
It's worse than drug withdrawal, man, by a lot.
By
because
far.
it lasts way longer too. Like it doesn't go
There's
away.
at least we could go to detox. That's what I was
saying. There's no
saying.
answer. There's no solution to it.
I'll kick
Me and
heroin
Matt-
any day.
I connected.
I'll kick heroin any day. Or
All day. I'll forget about it. I don't give a fuck. I'll detox cold turkey outside in the snow rather than go through heartache again. I remember waking up.
would.
Yeah.
So that's how me and Matt connected. When we first years ago, I first got into the industry. I was a noob. We just opened the center, and they showed me a picture. My old partner, who I'm not partners with no more, but
Great guy.
Solid dude. Solid. He sent me a picture. This is your competition. Watch out for this guy. This is it. And he sent a picture of Matt, and I don't know no better, man. I'm a friendly dude. I met Matt. He had on a fitted hat. He knew Chopper the beatbox. I was a dancer. He was a poet. All of a sudden, I'm like, I want to be friends with this dude. And we just started kicking it. And then he invited me to this Hillary Clinton event, some bullshit she was talking about.
It was terrible.
Fucking awful.
Fucking terrible.
And the whole time I was there, I didn't know what was going on. I only went.
He was in it. He was in the rabbit hole.
In the thick of
Chris
it.
goes in the rabbit hole. Forget it. I don't even know how he showed up.
Deep.
But he was in it.
Deep. It's my current wife, but me and we had broken up for a year, and it was brutal. It was brutal, and I was in a dark place. And so Matt, we're outside. He's like, "Yo, how you doing, man?" And this is why honesty is such an important thing, because usually we're the king and queens of good and you.
Yeah, everything's great.
Good and you. You know what I mean?
Not going through nothing.
But luckily, I was like, matter of fact, I'm fucking devastated, bro. I'm fucking dying inside. I needed to be transparent in my truth, because it was that fucking painful that I'm ready to tell a strange man. I'm like, Matthew,
and we
give me a hug, somebody.
Because the pain is so fucking.
He was going.
I didn't even know this dude. I was like,
it's all encompassing though, man. I couldn't
really
fucking get out of bed the first week.
No.
I would open my eyes and it's just my face is covered in tears right away. Can't get out of fucking bed. I have to cancel fucking appointments. Like I can't let it. I might like burst into tears at any moment. Like I am. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? My son was at the house. I had to like walk outside. I'm crying, and he noticed. He told his mother. He's like, "Mom, Dad's a wuss." He was crying.
Oh, you know how when I'm in heartbreak, because I'm at my mother's house on her couch, and she's like, "Baby, you want something to eat?" She knows the deal. I literally go back to my comfort zone from when I was a kid. Mom, because there's nothing else that can come close to, and even that's not enough. But that's my only detox that I have in that moment. But thank God for like the because he was going through something too.
Yeah, we sat in the parking lot because I was going through it with Janelle, heartbreak over it, and we just bonded over that. Like, in our circle, at least my circle, a lot of people looked up to me, so I never wanted to appear weak or admit I'm going through it, or that, my ego screaming that a girl might want me, might not want me, wants to put me through hell, wants to give me that heartbreak. It's hard to even admit that.
Yeah.
Coming from my history. And then same thing with you. Then we're both doing this. You started with all the shit talking that the partners were giving.
Yeah.
About you guys getting started up here. And I was just like, nah, fuck that. Fuck them. I got your back. We're going to build for nothing. Just out of like two guys going through heartbreak.
Yep.
Torture.
I remember the relief I got from someone else, just to know that someone else knew what I was going through at that moment. It's like when my father died, the only people that could truly comfort me is someone else that lost their father in that moment. That's like, I needed to be around people that understood that the depths of that,
Which
and
is
like,
kind of like addiction, man. It's like, you know, there ain't a doctor that can help you. There ain't nobody that can really help you except another addict. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the best thing you can say to somebody, like if I'm working with a guy who's trying to get sober and he tells you the shit that he's been that's been eating him alive for 20 fucking years or whatever, and you're like, yeah, man, me too. Yeah. That's the best thing you can say to somebody sometimes.
Absolutely.
You don't need an answer for it or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, that.
But it's that mutual understanding. You know what I mean? Like what's going on in your history, what's going on in their history. When they're opening up, you felt that same pain. You felt that same suffering that they're going through. Just having somebody that has that understanding, you know what I mean, deepens the connection. You know what I mean? When somebody's trying to get better, somebody's in recovery trying to let loose some of the struggles that they're going with just to get it off their chest.
I just need to know I'm not uniquely fucked up in any area. Like heartbreak. Am I the only one listening to fucking Adele crying, fucking listening to Seal or whatever the fuck? Like
you ain't the only one listening to Adele.
Bro, I remember I found this song.
I mean, I'm not listening to Adele, but there's like 70 million other motherfuckers.
Yeah, there's definitely somebody listening to it.
She was just the first to pop to my mind. Adele, it was more Ed Sheeran.
That I was a whole playlist for your breakup.
Yeah.
Bro, but... So
you gotta relate.
Once
you gotta relate going through it.
Once I expose that stuff though, and I understand I'm not alone, I start to get like that much relief. But that much relief is better than none at all. Yeah. And that's like the stuff that got me through. And I remember you brought your Eddie, that kid, man. Oh my God, he could make me laugh more than
I love Eddie.
Fucking love that dude. Shout out Eddie, but he was such a light, man. And I remember him giving me a speech in Kelly's parking lot, just like, I love you. God loves you. Yeah. You're going to be fine. You're going to...
Pastor Eddie came out.
Oh, my God. Eddie. I didn't even know this dude like that. And he was like moving my spirit. But that's the power of connection, right? Love. Like just like being good to people that you don't know. Like taking a chance and like you helped me out drastically. You didn't know if that was going to bring anything back in return.
And then you helped me out like more than anybody else. Like I went in blinded. And you equipped me with all these different tools that like put me in such a good position in life. Like I wouldn't be where I'm at if we didn't cross paths. The first time we met was at an event in New Hampshire when Amy brought us to connect. But sitting in that parking lot, that was like, I felt like I was going to war for you, which is shitbag partners. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm going to help you. I don't care what happens. We're just going to prove this motherfucker from another state. Because I just got an issue with people in that state.
I hear you.
I know. But like, you just try to be there for somebody and no expectations. It was like, we connected, different history. Let me try to help you out. And then the favor was returned. You know what I mean? Like tenfold. Just two guys that like, trying to do the right thing and trying to help people.
And if you simplify it to that basic function of just like trying to do the right thing and help people and like to take off the lens of ego and like I see sometimes I get frustrated with the halls because it seems like there's a lot of stipulations now and I don't like stipulations. I want if you're the most fucked up, be the most fucked up. I don't care how fucked up you are. Come in, we love you because I was the most fucked up. I'll go into a meeting and talk about all my bullshit I did. Because I have to, because I need to know that, make sure the kid in there that knows that's still fucking up with clean time, right? He's got clean time and he's selling gabapentin and he's on steroids. Like, bro, it's okay. It's okay. Keep coming. Because I was a fucking train wreck when I first started in recovery. You know why? Because I was a 22-year-old kid who had no idea about life with low self-esteem, vanity issues, body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression. I had a bag full of fucked up internal emotion that I was trying to sort through. All I got was a pat on the ass after the program. Like, here's life. Go get it, kid. No shit, I fucked up and did some dumb shit in recovery. And now all of a sudden people like ostracizing and isolating and don't say this, don't act like this, it's like, get the fuck out of here. Just keep coming. Whatever happened to that simple phrase? Like people just keep coming. Hey, good to hear you keep coming. Now it's like, don't say sober, don't say clean, don't say this, don't talk about that. It's like the basic foundation is just fucked up people helping other fucked up people, right?
Keep it in the simplest terms.
That's it, man. It's the opportunity that we have to come in a room and just to be loved unconditionally, right? Like the Nicole knows me fully. You know me fully. You know what I mean? Like I have to have it like that because that way I know that you truly are genuinely my friend, right? Because you're not knowing parts of me, pieces of me that I want to show you. It's like, here I am, motherfucker.
Like that convention speaker. Remember that one?
If I tell you the truth about me, will you still love me?
Right.
She screamed it in the mic twice, and I had goosebumps because what a profound statement, right? If I tell you the truth about me, Will you still love me?
Yeah.
Imagine how crazy that is. Most people live in terror of that statement. Freedom lies within that, though.
Nah,
that's where our freedom is. The key to everything that we're looking for in life, internally, mentally, lies within the transparency of our truth. And it's the hardest thing that we'll ever do, right? Especially for men, to expose like vanity issues, right?
Yeah.
I have vanity issues. I have body dysmorphia. I have low self-esteem. Require validation. How you call me skinny right now and I'll laugh, but I'll be at home ordering fucking supplements off GNC when I get home doing 50 push-ups because you like how you could have the ability to do that, right? Or these things that we struggle with as men because we suffer from the false pride and ego shit, right? That the bravado. What's up, bro? Ego, all that shit. And it's hard to take that mask off, right? Sometimes it's hard because where we've come from, how we were raised.
You're not allowed to be vulnerable. You're not allowed to be weak or perceived as it.
And that's why, though, it's like you said, if you know everything if you knew this about me, would you still love me?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
It's a profound premise, man. I'm a firm believer that the true everything lies within the truth, right? Internally, right? And once we learn to expose what's going on internally, we de-weaponize the disease, because all our disease does is take the inner darkest parts of ourselves and turns them into a tool that it uses to fucking club us over the head. It's that thought that comes out of nowhere when you're driving on a sunny day and you're like, oh, today's going to be a good day. And the disease, your head's like, hey, motherfucker, remember this?
Yep.
Or, hey, let's have a long drawn out thought of this bullshit that fucking murders our soul. Then when we think about it, it's that comes out. It's the taking us out of the now and projecting us back into the past or into the future that doesn't allow us to be just being, right? And that's why I talk about the relentless communication. My combativeness with the disease is transparency in that shit. It's getting rid of the ego. It's having the ability to have 15 years clean and tell people when I'm running group in my center how I just shoplifted from the depot 2 weeks ago and I feel like shit about it because I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I'm an owner of this facility now. Did I shoplift, like steal, put in my pocket? No. I was in the self-checkout line and the fucking thing didn't scan. Now, I look at it as I'm not properly trained on this equipment. You know what I mean? So what do you want me to do?
Justification.
This ain't scanning. You shouldn't have left me here. I'm not getting paid by the hour. So I just fucking put the shit in the car.
That's why you need to stop going through self-checkout. You taking jobs, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Just trying not to get the coronavirus, man.
Right.
Good call.
Nah, but it all goes back to that. The universe gives you the experience you need at this moment to bring you to a greater consciousness. Generally, it's pain.
Yeah.
Generally, it's pain because if I'm comfortable, then I'm not growing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna seek out a higher power. Somebody told me, they say that God always never gives you more than you can handle. That's the thing, right? He was like, nah, God always gives you more than you can handle, so you have to seek him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the point of it. It's like when you go through such an incredible amount of pain about something, and like for me with the heartbreak, I started to realize this isn't just about this. This is about all this other stuff that I never really addressed. As much as I thought I did, I didn't really dig to the root of why something like this bothers me so much. And then you have to dig deeper, get a greater spiritual connection, go and help more people to get out of yourself a little bit, kind of confront the old ghosts, look for the clarity. And then at the bottom of that cup, that's where you got to find that self-love. And the hardest one, self-forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for what you did in the past. That when you're alone in the car and you're trying to have the good day and what about this motherfucker?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't forgive yourself, you can't forgive anybody else. So then you start, anybody that you have that resentment against, that you love, they're supposed to love me. Now it's even intensified even more because you can't forgive yourself for the same fucking thing that you're mad at this person for. Yeah. That's why you hate it so much in them, because you hate it in yourself.
Nah, I believe that. See, that's exactly when I went through my breakup with my wife that year. I took the opportunity to grow. So I went deep deep spiritually, deep in helping people. I was in the best physical shape of my life, best spiritual shape of my life. I stayed off social media. I grinded in work, business. I became the absolute best version of myself, and I took accountability. Instead of getting angry, I looked at my part, and I gave it to God. I said, if this is an opportunity that it can come full circle, that because we didn't break up through lack of love, we broke up because it was tough. I was opening up businesses. I was neglectful. She was resentful. It was a tough situation, and I wasn't my best version. She wasn't her best version. And that 1 year being apart was the best thing that ever happened to us, because I decided to go that route and become a better person. So when it came full circle, 1 full year we didn't speak. She even had a new boyfriend. Poor bastard.
She did.
She called me up she finally broke. I didn't break. She's stubborn.
I know. I remember them conversations.
She's fucking stubborn. Actually, Nicole's the reason that she ended up breaking. Yeah. But I do that. When I tell you, I isolated everybody. Matt was the only person that knew how I truly felt. I didn't tell anybody.
I recorded like a whole album about it already.
See, if I could have done that, shit.
I got things that'll never come to light. Going through them dark times.
You got to write poetry, man.
Yeah. You had no outlet.
I had no outlet, man. I had nothing. But she called, boom, that chemistry. And then we had the opportunity to, I'm talking about she broke up she was living with somebody else. And then we reconnected. She had a U-Haul truck at that house that weekend and packed all her stuff up. That's how strong it wasn't through a lack of love. But when we got the opportunity to be back together, I was different. She was different. Yeah. And so we realized that in a relationship, like anything else, it's work. There's two people that need to grow. It's an evolution. You're always people know we're never the same people we are today that will be 6 months from now. No. So we got to reintroduce each other to each other. We have to learn. We have to grow. We have to keep it's like we all go through those growing pains. I know you have some stuff, go through stuff with Scotty. I go through stuff with Sam. You've been through your stuff with Janelle. And it's like, it's the adaptation and the relationship of like who I am now. What is my life like now? What are the requirements in this? How can I be better? And all that stuff.
That's like Scotty said to me after my brother passed away. He was like, I feel like you've been like 8 different people. And I'm like, I had to think about it. And I'm like, I have.
You have been.
I have. I was kind of forced to. All for the greater good. But like when my brother died, I'm a completely different person.
Absolutely.
I lost my father. That was that was painful. But losing my brother wiped me out. And so as a result of that, I am different. And so it just is what it is. I think relationships can be difficult because of that. Because I'm different. I'm a different person.
But that's how you know when it's love, but not lust.
You're not supposed to be the same either. Well, you're not supposed to go over periods of time and remain the exact same over years.
Like in recovery, like I know, I did drugs. I never knew myself. I never knew what I liked. And I came to the conclusion last year that like I'm always evolving. So like because I'm always like, I don't really even... I'm always getting to know myself over and over again because I'm constantly changing. And so, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's a trip.
That's the hard part about relationships is because you can love somebody and when you meet each other, you're at this amazing timing point and it was destined to be. And then if you're both growing in different directions, but that love is still there and that soul connection is so deep, but you're just in different places, it's so fucking hard, man. Yeah. And how do you know when to let go and when to fight for it? And what's the thing, and, you really don't.
There's no
really
right
don't.
answer.
Like, only time shows that. And fuck, man, I've been going through that myself lately. And,
there's no right answer.
I don't know where it's at right now, except that it's in a good place right now. And it was kind of, I'm like in it, so I don't even want to talk about it right now.
That's the best thing to talk about. That's the best thing to talk about.
I can see you holding back.
Oh, he's holding.
Yeah, he's been seeing me go through it, bro. Man,
but we've been through it. That's the thing.
The only thing you know for sure is that you don't know shit. And once you can swallow that down, you'll be all right. And does that make it any easier? No. But did I think for a second... So I had 2 choices when I was going through that. I could continue in a path of evolving as a human being, or I could succumb to the victim mentality that you see a lot of people do, like fucking they go on that bullshit. They start posting the bullshit. They start acting out the bullshit. They just act a fool. And they right there, they decide this is over by the way that they act. Or you could sit still, right? And my grandfather always says, you know what works, Chris? Nothing. Nothing is what works.
Resistance.
In relationships, right? And so and my mother would always say, Christopher Child, sit on your fucking hands and do nothing. That's what because I'm like, I'm going to call, I'm going to go. And she would just do nothing. And instead, and the something that I would do is just divulge and just positive anything, just feed me anything, connect. And make sure that if I do have the chance of the opportunity, again, that I'm prepared. Right, that I'm not gonna be the reason this fucks up. So if it doesn't work out, at least I can know it wasn't because Chris wasn't ready, right? Like that saying, like, don't go out there like stressing, chasing the perfect girl. Why don't you try becoming the perfect man so when she arrives, you're ready? You know, like so. And that's the thing, like, yeah. With that being said, it's still the fucking hardest thing in the world, right? To just trust in that what is gonna be is just gonna be, and all these cliches, but. It's what's the alternative, right? Control. We can't control.
We don't have any.
You have
control.
None.
It's all a delusion. Anyways, you never really have control.
None.
Nobody is yours.
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could be married, you could be your wife.
Still not yours.
It's not yours.
Nope.
Nobody. That's the ego. The ego wants to attach my wife. It's not. Both of you are free to go whenever you want.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the love, you just love someone, meet them where they're at, try to forgive.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm arriving at 42 years old. Trust me, it's a long time.
No, 42 years young, bro. Yeah, 42 years young. Come on.
But you know, this idea which I chased my whole life. Anytime I went through heartbreak the rest of my life, I would just try to fill the hole with another person, which is, you can look on social media for 10 minutes and find 1,000 people doing that. It's like the breakup, the toxic fucking shit for a month, and then they're in love the next fucking a month later, and all the new pictures and all that shit. And it's almost like a drug. It's like I felt like, you know, I was trying to like fill that void, and it's like you relapsing, man, and you feel like shit afterwards. And it's like you can't do that to another human being. So going inward during that heartbreak and really addressing stuff and kind of uncovering some things, and not trying to be the perfect man, but, you know, trying to heal like the old wounds and shit instead of masking it with something else. You know what I'm saying? Masking. I can't love myself. I need to find another woman to love me. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to the bottom of with this one, it was like, there is no replacement for this girl. There is no replacement for this connection, for this love. I just have to honor the loss.
Yeah.
And heal myself and let it kind of take its course. And now it took kind of a sharp left turn in a way that I didn't expect, which is a beautiful thing, and we'll see what happens. But yeah,
absolutely. And here's the thing: like you talk about, like when we start to claim, we start chasing, trying to fill the void and all that. Which I mean, we're human beings; we're gonna do that. But the lessons lost within that, right? When we don't take the time to sit still. That's the most that. So when I started my breakup with all that, I came out the gates guns blazing, right? Because grass is greener syndrome. Oh, here we go. I got to see.
You know who I am.
Yep. And then that fades real quick because it's like now it's like I just want back what I had. Yeah. But then it's a matter
because it's irreplaceable. You know, it's
absolutely. And then there was lessons to be learned, and I always know that, man. I always know when it's time to fucking grow. I can feel it internally. Like there's something to be learned here, and I can ignore it and continue to repeat it. Because I used to have this statement like, oh, I'm not in a relationship, all this. I date all crazy chicks. And it's like, I don't date crazy chicks. I create crazy chicks.
I'm the center of the chaos, and the women that I create, they're crazy.
And I know how it goes because it's genuine, right? I'll get you to fall in love with me. Yep. And I mean every bit of it in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I will wine and dine you, whoop, swoop, all that shit. I will give you the best parts of me, and I will be genuine. The same way that when you would ask me every time I left the treatment center, you going to stay clean, Chris? And I'd say yes. And I meant it. I meant it. I would mean it the same. In my relationships with women, I would mean it. I want to be with you. This is who I am. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, it's like a light switch will go off, and I feel nothing anymore. Yep. Nothing. And I'm emotionally dead. I have no connection. And now I'm peeking out. So this wore off. What's next? Yeah. And that person's like, well, hold up. We've just done 4, 6, whatever, however long it lasted. Where you going? And now their obsession kicks in, right? Yeah. They can't handle the rejection and all that. And then I justify, oh, look at how you're acting crazy. I can't be with the crazy chick. It's like, nah, I created that. So why is it do I get to that point where that light switches off, right? It's through the validation component. It's just like with the drug use. It lasts for so long, and then it wears off, and then you need a new fix of something, right? And so I would constantly be in this repetitive cycle of in and out of these relationships that would always get to a certain point, and then I'd hit the eject button. And Samantha, my wife, was the first time that I sat still, but I was still ill-equipped because I didn't know how once committed, now what do I do? How do I act? Who am I, right? So I fucked up a lot in the beginning. Our first date, I brought her out with, it was me, her, and my boy Joe. You know what I mean? Like we would go to dinner dates and I bring my homie, you know what I mean? Because that's what I did. I would do that with other chicks all the time. It was no big deal. Like I didn't know how to, I'm emotionally not normal. So it was hard for me to connect emotionally. And all these things we learn, right? So I had the growth pains, which created the turmoil in the relationship, which eventually led to the breakup. And we were off and on for like 8 years, but I don't give a fuck. I look at it like this. We've been through, I'd rather go through that off and on, learning. So if we ever do come back together, we know we can go through some shit. Like that's why I married her. We've been through the ringer 9 years, almost 10 years. Like we still are drawn back to each other, right? So it's what it is. If it's just, I see people that are like, they date for 6 months, they're married in a year. It's like, you don't even know that fucking chick. No, you have no idea.
Wait till the going gets tough.
You know, and it's interesting because I'm thinking about that thing I said earlier where, you know, nature's way with the dopamine firing off the first 3.5 years, it's nature's way of making it so you can have a child and all that. And then the serotonin starts to come up and the dopamine stops firing off at the same level. And that's at hopefully that point you can build a healthy attachment, and that's where you want to settle down and have a family. That's the way it's built in nature, love. We're addicts. We like the dopamine firing off.
Yeah.
So it's like, why does that switch off? It's the dopamine is coming down, the serotonin is coming up, and now healthy attachment time, and you're like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
I want to get high. I want to go back to getting high, and I want the shortness of breath, and I want the dopamine firing off, and you know, like the newness, so it's like now you want to chase that because you can't do the healthy attachment because it's not as exciting, it's not as toxic. So, you know, the universe will continue to give you the lesson until you learn it.
Yep.
You know, and that's why you can't fill it with another person. You can't fill the void with another person because you're denying it. You can, but you're denying yourself the lesson. Yeah. So you will continue to make the same fucking mistake, to chase the same kind of girl that, you know, over and over again until you fucking hopefully wake up and learn the lesson.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, Matt?
Right, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My character defects come out horrendous. I've been working on it though.
No,
I fucked up a lot.
You're crushing it. You've been crushing it. You quit
vaping. A whole lot in life, and I've tormented women, and that is the perfect definition of me. Grown for a long time, chasing the new, conquering ego, feeding the ego of women. It's not drugs with me. I struggle with a lot more. You know what I mean? And even Janelle been through hell and back, and she's still there, like holding me down, being there for me when I'm going through it. And we break up, we go through shit, and we get back together. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that
you need to pay attention to. The fact that you
don't be shitting on me now, Nicole. Come on, man.
That you always go back.
We always come back together for the last 5 years, no matter what bullshit I pull or my ego starts screaming. The grass is always greener, and let me get out of here. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, it's not always the case. And you got to realize that, and you got to grow, and you got to learn more about yourself and when you fall short. And that's something I've been really trying to work on, because what's normal? Like, I don't know what a normal relationship. I didn't grow up in a normal household. I searched for things that validated me for the longest time. It wasn't anything to do with the other person either. It wasn't nothing to do with the girl whatsoever. It was about, how can I validate? How can I get the validation? It was, I want the hottest girl on my arm. I want to show off everything that I do to feed that ego in that department of my life with women. And it complicated the shit out of it, as I now have 2 kids with 2 different women. Straight hell with one, one of my baby mothers. It's great. solid, good times, you know. But like, you know, there's something that means a lot when somebody's willing to stand by your side, even when you're a fucking crash dummy.
Yeah.
And, you know, Janelle loves me like more than anything. And no matter what, she supported me and she's backed me through a lot of the ups and downs of the last couple of years. You know, and that's something that you know, I've realized more and more lately. So.
Yeah, plus she loved when you were just regular ass Mac Cannon, not big ass entrepreneur Mac Cannon. You know
that's
what I mean?
That's the truth. You know, there's
that's why I love my wife.
That.
She was feeding us off our EBT card, and I was borrowing her Oldsmobile. I didn't have shit.
Yeah,
we were broke as a motherfucker when we started this journey.
Yeah,
I became obsessive in the pursuit of the better life, which made me neglect her, made me neglect my stepson, all this shit. I was a terrible friend, terrible son, terrible brother. I was so consumed in it, but driven. It's hard to find that balance.
The balance is one of the hardest things in life, because like when you're trying to push and you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to build, you're trying to create a better life. Like it's same thing as chasing a drug. It's all consuming. So everything that's not like, I'm goal oriented. So when you put the goal in front of me, like I don't care, I'm gonna get there. No matter how far, how hard, what I have to do, I'm going to achieve it. And I'm going to prove people that say that I'm wrong. I'm going to get to where I need to get to.
But we pay a price for it.
But that's the thing. So like the people that love and care about us can fall by the wayside. They can get put on the back burner. Like when we started with Banyan and Mass, like my kids fell to the wayside. Like as a father, like I was there, but my phone's ringing. I'm trying to help this person. I got this issue. I got to fix that. I got to go leave my house to go do this. It's like a lot of things, you know, fell off. And, you know, it also helped me to get there by being so focused on it. But you start realizing like some of the things that fall short and the regrets that you have over that time. And it's like, you know, for me at least, for my kids, I've been trying to step up more and more as being a dad and not being out. Like, you know, when we first met, I was at an event every single night. Like, there wasn't a night that I wasn't in some town, some part of Massachusetts.
Making me look like shit.
Out hustling the next person, because that's how it was. But, like, I don't want my kid to look at it as my father just works. No, like, that's my dad. My dad's my hero.
But it is balanced, so because, you know, that's how we show the people we love, especially as men. You know, like, we show the people that we love them by providing for them, by making sure everything is good. We take on their problems. Their problems are ours. Like if my girl needs something, it's my problem. I want to take care of her and make sure she has it. If my son needs something, I need to be able to take care of that. So it's kind of a product of the world we live in society. Like, we need to go out and get what we need to get so our families and the people that we love are safe, are healthy, are happy. But, you know, we can also get lost in the pursuit of that too, and, you know, swing things out of balance, where it's like, now the people that you're working for that you love so much, now you're not around. You're always on the road. You know what I'm saying? And you're missing out on the valuable time, because the best thing you can have with them is actual presence together. Which brings us back, by the way, in a perfect loop to where we started with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And how this has done exactly that for all of us. Now we're focused on, I can't get out on I should be on tour right now. I can't do that. I can't do any of the outside things that I had planned or that I was doing, or travel or do any of that. Now it's home.
Yeah.
Spending time with my son, you know, trying to rebuild some things with the woman.
Yeah.
Writing a new record. You know what I'm saying? These are things that I actually love to do the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I was forced to do the things that I love to do the most right now.
Well, that's dope. That's the perspective that she has.
Yeah.
Was back to what Matt was saying too, like the whole, and you were talking about, we have to, the grind is going to be there, but it's like, how do we handle the grind? Where I fell short is, it's the lack of communication, right? Because I bring in my world, and I get tunnel vision, and I push people like this. It's like a separate thing, what I'm doing. And all I ever had to do is just bring her over here into this lane and show her what was going on. Now she knows all my employees. She knows all the people I help. She has the same relationships and friendships. She knows you. She knows she's a part of it. So she sees what I see. I would be frustrated for her not being able to see the vision. Yeah. But I was holding her over here saying, how come you don't see this? She said, the fuck you talking about? all I see is your back every time you leave the house in this empty ass apartment, you know, when you're gone. Had I brought her in the fold earlier, even with my friends, my family, but we get so locked on, right? Because that addict mindset, we see something that grind, boom. Especially we start to catch traction, we start to, it's all bets are off. If you even nag me or get in the way, now you're pissing me off because you're fucking up my vibe. Yeah, now you're just get away from me. But little, it's just
I think I trigger Scotty all the time because that's where I'm at still right now. Is that like you don't get it. You don't get it.
It's hard though. Some people aren't built for that type. You know, when they're trying to.
I promise them after school, I'm done with the big goals. We're gonna.
Yeah. But that right there is balance. It's finding you
heal back. We're gonna, I'm gonna start to enjoy life a little bit different. I'm just not. The finish line's close. You know what I mean? But it's definitely been challenging. So, my kids pay a huge price right now, but December, I'm done.
You're gonna get there as a doctor.
You're gonna be a doctor though. That's fucking.
It's a nurse practitioner.
Doctor.
A psych MD.
Sounds like a doctor.
NP, MD, all the D's. All the D's.
Does NP stand for no problem?
No
That's
problem.
Right.
What you need, no problem.
We got you.
Yeah.
We got you. But you're gonna get the rewards for all that hard work.
And they will
and it's finding balance. I mean, going back to what Slaine was saying, like this is a perfect time to look at things in perspective and try to, regain some of that balance we might have lost on our path to get to whatever it is that we're trying to get to.
Do what you love.
Yes.
That's it.
That's in pursuit. My favorite thing that he talks about, he says that the true balance in life is somewhere in between order and chaos, that we're never fully happy if we're on a complete one side or the other, that we need, especially addicts in early recovery, we need that stimulation. But the type of stimulation, like when you're out there doing your shows, creating a new album, when you're out there on stage, for me, it's like I love being an entrepreneur and helping other people, right? Because there's so much shit that I never thought was possible for me that I realized is just like barriers to entry that I created, self-imposed narratives that I lived by for a fucking long time, right? You'll never be able to. I caged myself in the possibilities of what my life could be. Like I told myself, this is as much as it can be and nothing more. No one else saw, but I blamed everybody.
Yeah, you set limits on yourself. It's everybody else's fault.
Everybody else's fault, right? And then all of a sudden I did some work on myself, started to unravel the narratives and realized there ain't shit I can't do. I can't go to the NBA no more, but I'll ball the fuck out in my men's league in Manchester. You know what I mean? Like, but there's tons of stuff I could do. Like all the businesses and the stuff that we do and how we just skydive into it, fuck it up and learn, right? Because we haven't
the best way to learn.
And and I've watched I've helped friends like with like opening up business. That's my favorite thing to do now. Just like dudes get clean. First thing I try to help them do after like they've been clean a while is like, we're going to fix your credit. We're going to teach you about finances. We're going to teach you about all the stuff that I needed to learn. I didn't have a father around teaching me that shit, right? So I'm learning that in recovery. Like opening up a business. I remember the first year we had to pay taxes. I remember calling you and be like, dude, wait till you have to pay taxes.
Watch.
You actually
Thank God you told me that. Thank God you were on suicide watch. Like I have to cut a check. You have no idea how much I have to do this.
It was fucking crazy. And like now I get to teach my brothers and all this shit and even acquiring real estate and doing all this stuff. We're doing that.
But those are things that we were never even supposed to do. We're never supposed to get there.
You bought a piece of property before I did. We were living in the same apartment complex. And just to understand, like, all right, Matt did it. It's a possibility. And then just going through this process, man. And I know so many people with a limited belief system. And I truly believe it's not just about getting clean and staying clean, because I think a lot of people can get clean and stay clean for lengths of time. It's about getting clean, staying clean, and the development of a life worth living. I think that's a lost part of this whole recovery thing. Because I've seen many people get clean, stay clean for a little bit, and they put together a shitty life. Yeah. And it's a lot of settling, right? They settle in a relationship, they settle in a job, they settle in whatever the fuck, and it deteriorates them after a while. Even with them going to meetings, it deteriorates them. And they don't make the proper changes. For me, it's like, go out there and live the shit out of life. You didn't get a second opportunity to like be here, or a third, or a 20th, or a 30th, to go out there and just settle. You're supposed to go out there and chase, grind. We got one opportunity to live this life shit. We go balls to the wall, go for broke. We got to understand that we can be. Just as simple as that, we can be. Whatever it is that in our mindset, those ideas that pop up real quick, hey, we should, and then the secondary, nah, you can't do that. You won't do that. You'll fail. All that. It's like, nah, fuck that. My inner observer, like the inner dialogue that I have, I remember it used to be so negative, right? It used to tell me that I was going to fail in everything that I did, that I couldn't be an entrepreneur, I couldn't buy a house. And I believed it. I lived to that narrative as if it was true. Now everybody calls me crazy. They think I'm crazy. Do they think I'm crazy, Nicole?
Chris is crazy.
A little manic.
Because there's nothing I don't think I can do now. Construction company, I'll start it. Flip a house, never did one.
Let's do it.
Flipped one. I'd be talking this motherfucker.
I mean, that's a reality. If you believe you can do something, then you most likely can.
Whether
And if
you
you
think
believe
you
you
can,
can't, then you most likely can't.
Right.
And I live firmly to that. And it makes me sad to not give people that don't have that information that just they think they can't. And their life is a reflection of that. And their relationship is a reflection of that. And that it's just, that's a sad existence. And it doesn't have to be like that, man. And I always try to tell people, especially when I'm running groups or in meetings, that it's so much more than just getting clean. Obviously, that's the foundation and it's important. And that is the most important thing, because the opportunity won't be there if we're not clean. But a profound thing happens, man, when we surrender to this. And the internal work, it comes with the reward, in spite if you believe in it or not. And what we can go out there and attain for Matt, fucking think of your life right now, brother. Really think of it.
It's insane,
I'm in awe every
dude.
day, and I'm not special. You're not. We weren't chosen ones from the great God of recovery, right? That I'm talking about inner work that in the type of work and connections that normal people I wish they could have.
Yeah.
Like the normies, because I know some miserable non-addicts too that could use some fucking
something,
right?
Let me get some something.
Oh yeah. And it all comes back to like what we're talking about, that state of consciousness. It's being a student to this life game and understanding, man. It's the treatment of the sick mind and like the communication flow. It's the connection. It's the more, at the end of the day, when we die, when we're on our deathbed, all that's going to matter is how much did we give and receive love. That's it. That's all that. We can't take none of the money, the clothes, the cars. We can't take shit. All we'll have is the opportunity to reflect. How much did I love to my fullest? Was I loved to my fullest? And so to like try to compress that into like, that's why like my favorite, and I'm still a shit friend with a lot of my friends because most of my energy goes into new guys. It does. Like I love the look in someone's eyes when I start to tell them that they can. I love that.
He loves projects.
Yeah.
I love it, man, because there's nothing that feeds my spirit more than seeing a dude go from like my buddy Andy with the construction company, flourishing right now.
Yeah.
My boy Craig with the barbershop. He sat in my house after I Ubered him from Middleton jail. I'm like, you're going to have your own shop. He has his own shop. Like that type of shit, man. Flourishing over a year clean. Like that's my favorite fucking thing, because now he's an inspiration and Andy's an inspiration. It's like this chick, man, watching her go through like
Becoming a doctor.
She's in school. She's my executive director. She deals with all the bullshit. She's raising kids. She has a hubby at home. She drives back and forth from Mass. She has 2 dogs. Like she's obviously had some meltdowns, but she's a fucking.
She's obviously had some meltdowns.
Definitely had some meltdowns.
She's my left hand, and I have 2 women in my life, my left and my right in business. It's Michelle and Nicole. And she's a beast at and it's an inspiration. She's a gutter junkie from Saugus, Mass. You know what I mean? That was thrown away from society. But I love this shit. I don't know how much longer you guys want to go. If you want to rap, we can rap.
We're all right.
I gotta piss. I'm not gonna rap right now.
So let's take a break. You want to take a break, or you want to?
I thought you were asking me to freestyle.
Oh shit! I'll drop bars.
Get it.
We did a while. We did good.
Yeah. You want to?
Yeah, it's a dope spot you got here, man.
Yeah.
You just set this up.
What?
It's up to you. Whenever you gotta get back. There ain't fucking shit going on in the world right now. So
As long as if I tell